So tell me, what do you see or feel in this new space?
Well, at first kind of felt like maybe I was in Egypt. That was the feeling I was having. I'm having, I'm not seeing anything. Trying to feel, I feel like I'm a young man, maybe. I feel like I don't know if I have jewelry on my wrists or shackles or something. I can't tell yet. I might be a prisoner of some sort. At the moment, even though I'm covered with a blanket, it feels really cold, like underground dungeon or something.
Is it dark where you are? Low lit, like low light kind of dark? Or
It feels like it's pretty dark.
what's something that stands out the most to you where you are?
Just that I had like a heaviness on my wrists for a moment, and I feel really cold and like maybe like frail and skinny.
Are there others around you?
I was trying to tell. Hmm. It's showing me, er, when Aladdin's in the jail underneath, kind of
Uh-huh.
like that.
Okay.
Something it just showed me.
Interesting. Because I was just going to ask you, how big does the room feel that you're in?
Flipping back to the body, uh, not very big. Feels like it has maybe a dirt floor and stone walls.
Huh.
If
Look
there's
down.
anyone else, we're not interacting.
Okay. Now look down at your feet. Are you wearing anything on your feet?
No, I feel like I'm really not wearing much of anything.
Okay. What?
Maybe, maybe just like a real thin, like white linen cover, if that, but it feels like it doesn't cover me very well. Like maybe it's ripped on the sides open or something.
You're now standing in front of the scene of why you're in this jail.
Maybe like rebellion of some sort. I was talking about suspicions of the ruler, their worthiness, and where they get their power from, is what I just heard.
Interesting. Well,
I question the bloodline of the gods.
you are now standing outside of the front of your residence. Tell me, what does outside of your home look like?
Like the square, I don't know what they're made out of. Sand, clay, straw combinations. I feel like maybe I live in an area where there's a lot of homes, a lot of people in close quarters to each other. It's showing me a Nubian village that I went to in Egypt, and it's kind of set up like that.
Now, do you see a way to enter?
Um, yeah, there's like a doorway. I feel like it's a fabric in front of across the door. I just feel like it's just like a small, maybe like dirt floor, plaster walls with some sticks and like straw roof, like one room.
Can you determine if there's running water or electricity in your home?
No, nothing like that.
Do other people live in this home with you?
My mom, maybe just me and my mom.
No. I want to take you to a dinner table and describe what a meal looks like. As you sit down, what is in front of you on the dinner table?
Um, maybe like some sort of fruit and beans. It largely depends on what's available.
Mm.
Sometimes meat. I feel like maybe I have to help out my mom a lot. So I don't think we have very much money. So I think we probably don't have a lot of food most of the time. Feels like maybe we go hungry quite a bit.
Do you guys go through long periods of time without food?
Yeah, I think there's definitely long periods of like hunger, pains.
Mm. Yeah.
Like I feel really hungry right now.
You are now standing at your job or occupation. Tell me, what is happening around you? What do you see or feel in this space?
I feel like I help someone, like I'm a sheep herder, and I help someone with their sheep and goats or something. I just keep hearing sheep.
Mm.
Maybe help someone allow their animals to kind of graze along the river within their property or kind of a thing.
And how do you feel doing this
Mm.
work? Is it fulfilling work for you?
I don't think so. I think I'm pretty bored.
Do you know what you would rather be
Ow.
doing? Oh,
I feel
okay,
like
sorry.
I see the ships go up and down the Nile or the Great River, and I desire to get on one and explore and just go away.
Hmm.
But instead, I'm just sitting on the shore with the sheep, watching them all go by.
Can you sense a year, what year it is in this scene?
I heard 1403, which I don't even know what that would.
Mm.
That was the first thing that came to my mind.
You are now viewing an important day. Tell me, what is happening? What do you see or feel?
Well, so I felt like, so I felt like I was in the body, and then there's something like a structure of some sort to my right side. Hillside, cliff, rocks, I'm not something. There's a shape there I can't see. And my neck and shoulder are just fucking killing me. I wonder if I like fell or got hurt somehow on my shoulder, neck, or something. And the side of my head hella hurts too, like up behind my ear. Maybe that shape I saw to my right was like fast moving ground, like I was falling in my vision, or
Mhm.
yeah, the whole side of my skull is like killing me.
What's going on with your body in this scene? Are you laying? Are you walking? Are you doing an action?
Well, I thought I was like almost crouching, or and then there was like a movement on the right side, and then just like
like you
I'm
just
gonna try to
fell?
sit up for a second, yeah, because and normally like my skull doesn't hurt like that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. You always seem to feel stuff, so I think it's related to the scene for sure.
And I actually have these pains off and on quite a bit, and I've often wondered if they were from something else, like in the neck and shoulder part.
Uh-huh.
But this is like all the way up in the back of my skull, like the lower right quadrant above the neck, behind
Mm-hmm.
the ear. So yeah, maybe I fell and got hurt. I don't feel like I was hiding from anything or running from anything. I feel like maybe I was just relaxing. Or
Can you sense what's around you? Like objects or to give a clue of like a location or something, of where you are?
I think I might just be out with the sheep somewhere, like
Okay.
out in nature.
Yeah.
Um, it doesn't feel like anyone ever finds me. It seems like I actually end up painfully getting home, maybe after some time. I'm not sure if I was knocked out at all or what, but I suspect that there may have been some damage. Maybe that was a significant day because it hurt me. Like,
Yeah. Left you with something.
mhm.
Is there anything else that stands out to you about this scene that we're viewing before we move forward?
Yeah, I think maybe it did happen at night, and then I got home the next morning once I could see. I'm not sure how far, but it feels like I had to go kind of far to get back to town. Like maybe it made me kind of confused too. I was pretty out of it.
So your injuries, they're localized on your head and shoulder, or do you have anything else anywhere on your, like where, was it hard to walk?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think just the head injury feels like it was pretty prominent.
How old do you feel in this scene?
Around 17 maybe.
Can you
That's
sense what your name is?
I don't the first thing that came to my mind was Emmanuel.
You are now viewing a different important day. Tell me what is happening. What do you see?
I feel like it's evening time. I'm walking around like the residential area, and you can see like maybe lights coming in out from the light coming through like people's windows and stuff. Maybe from some sort of candle or gas lighting sources of some sort. Fires, maybe. Uh, I don't think I'm alone. I think I might be walking with a girl and like talking,
Mhm.
like a romantic interest of some sort.
What are you guys talking about?
I think just nervous small talk.
How old do you feel in this scene?
About 20 maybe.
Is there anything that stands out to you the most in this scene?
I think just cultural expectations. Feel like she comes from a big family and she has a dominant father, and I don't particularly have much to offer. Traditionally, I think the woman is supposed to go live with the man's family, but my mom and I don't really have much of anything.
When you're trying to like
But I
court
think
her?
we like each other anyway.
Yeah, she doesn't care that you have nothing.
hmm
Now,
I
do
feel like
you,
maybe she has older sisters and doesn't think it's all it's cracked up to be. She like watch them.
Hmm. Do you guys end up getting married in this life?
I'm having a headache and feeling like nauseous, like maybe my brain injury interferes sometimes with my ability to work and provide. And so her dad doesn't think I'm suitable and causes a lot of problems, which makes me really angry. Um, he tries to marry her off, like arranged marriage, to someone else.
And is he successful in that?
Yeah, it feels like he is.
And how do you both feel about that?
I feel like maybe I don't really ever get to see her again once that happens. We are both pretty broken about it, but once we're ripped apart, we just never really see of each other again. I think I carry a lot of anger about it as well. Uh, my jaws hurt, like from clenching my jaw from anger. It just feels really unfair because as it was, I was dealt a shitty hand, so to speak, where I didn't have a dad and I had a mom who struggled and I had to be really responsible really young. But because we didn't have the wealth and the property and the other things to offer, I couldn't be with the person that I wanted to be with.
Hmm.
Not because I wasn't a good person, it was because I didn't have stuff.
Yeah. You are now viewing another important day. Tell me what is happening. What do you see?
I feel like it has something to do with losing my mom and being all alone after that. Maybe my mom passes away.
Can you see what happened to her?
She's just sick, like coughing. And I think she's also pretty old for the times, as far as she'd been sickly my whole life anyway. So I feel like she passes just like kind of peacefully in the home. But then after that, I feel like really alone because she was like the main companion. I feel like I have a couple friends, but not. I feel like our community, kind of looks out for each other and stuff too, but it's not the same as, I think I'm already kind of angry because I couldn't have the woman that I loved, and I think there might be some emotional regulation issues from the head injury.
Mm,
I feel like I just don't. I feel kind of like I don't mix very much and kind of self isolate a little bit, especially after those two events. Um, falling and hurting myself and then just not feeling good a lot of the time and then having my heart broken.
hmm. Do you have anyone special in your life?
I feel like I might have a coworker that's like a good friend. It's like pretty much the only other person that I really have a connection with. Like sometimes we go out together and sometimes we don't. I feel like a lot of people kind of just looked down on us my whole life or something. I don't know if it was because of my mom or what, but
Yeah. Or even just your economic status?
yeah.
Yeah. What are some things that stand out to you about this important day?
Just feeling alone.
Yeah. You are now present on the last day of the life we are currently viewing. As you watch yourself in this new space, what is happening? What do you see?
I think I was stoned to death after I was brought up from that prison to make an example out of me of what happens when you question and speak out against. the gods.
What did you say about the gods?
I just don't understand what separates me from them. What makes them so much better because of some sort of blood that runs through their veins. So I just question the validity of all of it, basically. I was angry at the world
Yeah.
and I had a traumatic brain injury. So
Yeah. Well, and you speaking out against religion, shocking.
I really didn't have much to live for. And so I was just pissed off at the establishment and
Um,
basically just kept causing problems until
well, I want to ask a couple morbid questions because I'm curious about how stoning works. Like what does that involve? How with you with your experience? How did they do that?
I feel like my back is to them and I'm tied up somehow and my back is to them and there's just hella rocks being thrown at my body and some hit you in the head and
Yeah. Yeah, I've
they
just
just
heard.
keep doing it until you die.
Yeah.
But you don't stay in the body the whole time. You check out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I've heard of it being done a couple different ways, and I was just curious how they,
I'm
I'm
not
not,
totally sure. I know it's daytime, the sky is blue. I see fucking serious. I feel like I'm in the Karnak temple. I feel like I know exactly the fucking spot that it happened.
wow.
I stood there. Uh yeah. There's this one spot, this image that keeps popping up in my head when we were walking through Karnak, that there's like this corner of this kind of outdoor courtyard and it's like sandstone type, walls around. So that would
So,
mean that I lived in Luxor, or that's where I was taken. If there was a dungeon in Luxor, not in the Luxor temple, Karnak's in Luxor. That's kind of the area I was thinking too most of the time.
all right. So let's follow your soul into the spirit realm and sit with the council of elders. Tell me, what do you see or feel? Can they help you understand what the purpose of that life was and the lessons you were supposed to learn here?
I think to experience like extreme like poverty and loss, it almost feels like it's somewhat connected to it's like the other side of the coin from the rich life.
Mm-hmm.
And I isolated in that one as well.
Yeah.
Uh, but the other end of the spectrum of having nothing and barely getting by, I think I was supposed to rise above it and ascend the situation. But I think there was just still this sadness and loneliness that still I carried with me. So it may have been after that life. It just felt really like I could be doing so much more, but I can't. Kind of like I was trapped by my poorness and all I wanted to do was get on one of those boats and go down the Nile and see what else there was. But I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't because I had to take care of my mom and then I ended up getting hurt myself and it was just one slam after the other after the other. I felt like I couldn't catch a break and just kind of stayed in that anger and sadness and isolation mentality. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there must have been ways to ascend it and rise above it. I know that in that lifetime, it felt pretty hopeless. It felt like it was impossible.
Mm, yeah, I bet.
I think I was supposed to find my joy despite it, and I did not succeed with that.
Are there any things they feel you should have done differently?
Yeah, just like rise above it. I guess like find my joy despite the lack, the way everything just felt like it was just stacked against me. But like I didn't. I was just angry.
Now, do you feel like you carried any trauma with you from this life into the current life you're living?
Um, I think there is some influences, maybe like the neck and head. I used to get a lot of headaches when I was a kid too. Which is interesting. I wonder if that associated. But like shoulder, neck, head pain, some of it might originate from that. And then like some underlying anger and sadness and isolation attitudes. And it also probably affects my eating, the being hungry. And that's funny, actually. Okay, so when I get super hungry, I get fucking pissed. And every time I try to juice fast, that's one of the things that makes me stop, is because I get so mad whenever I get extended anger, or the whole hangry thing. But it's like I always wondered why I had this deep anger response whenever I was hungry for a long period of time.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this might be where it comes from. Because I know I'm doing it to myself. I know I want to juice fast. I know I want the hunger because it's shrinking my stomach and, you know, kind of resetting my organs. And it's like with the intention of getting healthier, but I get so mad. So I think this is where it comes from. That, and I also, just hate rulers and forced religion.
In one, two, three, you're now in your healing space. I am now sending you a surge of source healing light entering through your crown chakra now, filling your entire body.
It's like filling and then swirling around and then pulling the trauma that's stored at the base of my skull. And it's intertwined with my stomach.
Interesting.
And so spinning it around really fast and untying it so I could blow it all out into the water from the cave. It's like my stomach is like tied in a million knots to the back of my head. And the source healing light is like spinning around it like a tornado and untying it all.
That's cool.
But there's hundreds of knots. I think that's most of it.
Beautiful. I am going to call in the power of your higher self and ask her why she chose this life for you today. Do we have permission to speak to your higher self?
Yeah.
You chose the life where she was living in poverty and lost her love. Why did you choose that life for her today? And what does that have to do with the life that she's living now?
There's a lot of belief systems that are intertwined with the current incarnation regarding ideals of poverty, worthiness of love, hunger, anger, and the mentality of lack. And the pain is there to remind her to not repeat it. She doesn't have to be afraid. That's not going to be her life this time. She was very deeply unhappy with the circumstances in that incarnation.
Um, I forgot to ask while we were in there, but are there any souls in that life that you recognize from this incarnation? Or can your higher self tell you what souls you incarnated with before?
I felt at the time that Travis was the girl, probably. And the friend, I'm not sure who it is though, but it's somebody that I incarnated with before, or I'm not sure if they're in this one. I didn't particularly recognize the mom soul. I don't know. I heard Charlene. I don't know anyone named Charlene, so maybe it's somebody that's a friend from a different life.
Yeah. Is there anything else about that life that your higher self would like you to know before we wrap this up?
That's just where the association with angry with hunger comes from. And yeah, that maybe just understanding that will help me kind of get over the hump to do the juice fasting that I want to do and need to do for my liver right now. That when that, well, hopefully it won't affect me as much now that we've shown light on it and understand it.
Yeah.
And if the feelings do get triggered, I can understand that they're not from this time and try to meditate and let them go. That being hungry isn't going to put me back into that life, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably one of the reasons, though, why I struggled with it so much in this incarnation. And then possibly even where part of the overeating comes from. Part of it was trying to fill insatiable holes of being unfulfilled. And then there was another dynamic of eat as much while you can because you don't know when you're going to get to eat again, which is a mentality that doesn't really serve me in this incarnation, but was necessary in that one. And that's where that behavior is deeply embedded into my psyche from. So I've been doing a lot better with not overeating. And this is just another step in that understanding how complex the challenges were for me when it came to healthy eating and the influences that were affecting it. So this lifetime actually deals with money and food, which are two major struggles I currently am dealing with.
They both align with your Chiron wound too,
Mm-hmm.
because Taurus rules food too, you know? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Poverty, lack, all that, yeah.
I have definitely wondered if I've had a life where I was super poor and didn't have any food. Several times I've wondered that. So it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.